All right, so first and foremost, I want to start off by saying Barakatham, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, and I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shout out to the whole elect. Started with the 144,000. Shalom. All right, so you know, Title 2 lesson. I think I put it in my notes yesterday. I meant to get it done yesterday. Oh, but I know having to do some things with my children, but Lord willing, gonna get this one done and study more later, and Lord willing, will come with another lesson later. But this title right here is it's called "Receive It or Don't, You Will Hear It." Hashtag Watchman, right? And as we was at Camp Friday, we had a Camp Friday, me and the brothers, and at the camp, you know, there's a lot of people that it's usually a lot of people that walk by, but it's a lot of people who kind of gave, like who kind of stopped and glanced for a moment, and some people stayed for a second. Some people asked questions, but we had an encounterment with two women, and they were elderly women, but we had an encounterment with two elderly women, and one of them was Esau, and one of them, she appeared to be, Israel, Jake woman. The tares and the wheats, right? But she appeared to be. But, as we was, she was asking us whatnot, who we are, things that such, what we got on the garments, we just giving her information. We telling her we're the true Jews. And she said, I heard that before. I heard that the people who they call Jewish are not the real Jews. But the elderly Esau woman, she didn't like it. She didn't like it at all. That kind of struck a nerve within her, right? And she was, oh well, we're Christian, so whatnot. Things that such. Like she ain't like that, and it just kind of hit me in the spirit because we brought out Ezekiel 3 at the end of camp, but I wanted to go into it more. I want to go into it to verses 1 through 6. Then I'm gonna jump down to verse 17, right? And Lord, I got some more precepts as well I want to go into, right? Because at the end of the day, right, you're going to hear this truth. It's like with Peter and the apostles, right? Acts 5, when they was, basically telling them stop teaching the name of Yahweh Bashin Yahweh Shah, right? Because, it was offensive. Matter of fact, even with Jeremiah, right? Jeremiah didn't want to teach the truth no more at one point. So I can bear with me. Let me see if I can type it in. Bear with me. Jeremiah 29. Right? Because it came to one point, Jeremiah didn't want to teach the truth no more because how much Israel scoffed and mocked. Right? So this is Jeremiah 20. I'm starting at verse 7. It says, O Lord, thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. Thou art stronger than I, and hast prevailed. I am derision daily. Everyone mocketh me. Right? And matter of fact, I'm not necessarily saying we're just going to read 1 through 6. We're really going to read that Ezekiel 3, because Ezekiel 3, it goes into that verse 8 and 9, right? How the Most High, he makes us hard-headed and stiff to be able to withstand, and because like Paul said, teaching the truth, they make you seem like an evildoer, right? They try to make it seem like the things you doing, the things you saying are wrong, and try to make it seem like we're speaking evil. But what we're doing is teaching not true nationality, right? But Israel supposed to be able to understand this. But also we know Yahweh Shai is he got the angel blocking the vision, and covering the ears of the ones who don't, the 2/3, right? The truth is ultimately for the elect, but Israel supposed to be retaining this knowledge, right? What is that? Micah 3 and verse 1. It says, and I said, here I pray you, O heads of Jacob, and you prince of the house of Israel. Is it not for you to know judgment? So is it not for Israel to know judgment? Is it not for us to Yahweh Shai, he said in Baruch, right? The things that are pleasing the things that are pleasing to the Most High is made known unto us, right? So the things we was given the laws, the commandments. You know, we was given the laws and commandments. We was given all those things, right, to be able to separate ourselves and be glory, to be holy unto Yahweh Shah, separate, right? But Jake want to what? Jake want to be just like everybody else. Jake want to choose ways of the other nations, right? But going back to Jeremiah 20, verse 9, Slacky. Verse 7 again says, "O Lord, thou hast deceived me, and I was deceived. Thou art strong tonight, and hast prevailed. I am in derision daily, everyone mocking me." So Jeremiah, like, no, I'm going through it. I'm teaching the truth. They mocking me, laughing at me, clowning me, right? Doing all these things, persecute, hating me, right? They doing all these things. He going through it, right? He says, "For since I spake, I cried out. I cried violence and spoil, because the word of the Lord, right? The word of the Lord Yahweh was made a reproach unto me, and reproach is disrespect. They disrespect him." Right, like he teaching the truth, whatnot. But it's like, you know, when you talking to somebody, not trying to hear what you saying, gonna tell you shut up. We don't want to hear that. That's how they are. Hey, we ain't trying to hear what you talking about, right? And a derision daily. Then I said, I will not make mention of him, right? So he gets to a point to Jeremiah going through so much. He said he gonna start teaching the truth. He finna start teaching it, right? But right, it said, then I said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more his name. But his word was in mine heart as a burning fire shut up in my bones. And I was weary with forbearing, I could not stay. Right? The spirit was like fire unto him. Right? Because this word gonna get teached. This word gonna get taught. Slaki. Right? The word, you're gonna hear about this truth. Whether you accept it or whether you don't. Because the Most High set those watchmen up. And as you read in Ezekiel, you're gonna see he made those watchmen stiff. He made those watchmen to endure the suffering, endure the pain. Right, and the title of our camp was, was going into, how this generation saw. Because this generation, they're going to be able to withstand, or, they won't be able to take on the sufferings, the pains, and things and such that Yahweh Shah told us we had to go through. That's why the elect, they'll suffer those things. They'll go through those things. Right, what Paul said, I suffer all these things for the elect's sake. Right, Paul also said, Acts 20, right, I take my life not dear unto myself, but to do the will of Yahweh Shah. And that's to teach his word to all nations, right? And because Israel is scattered amongst all nations, right? So going back to Ezekiel 3, right? This is verse 1, right? It says, "Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go speak it to the house of Israel." And that roll, right? Because back then, before the Bible was put in this book form, it was written written on a scroll. Right, but this roll is going to this knowledge of scriptures, understanding. Right, I think I got it right here in my notes. Roll that's being described here is the scriptures, because before the Bible was made into a book, we used to have it on ancient scrolls. Eat that roll mean take any words, these scriptures. Right. He said, "So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll, because his word like unto a meal, man." It's like Yahweh Shai said, if you let me, I will come sup with him. Right? That sup is abbreviated word for supper. This word like unto a meal. I mean, we got to eat the whole roll, gain the full knowledge. Not just the good part, not just hearing about the kingdom or the good things, right? Excuse me. Not just hearing about the kingdom and the good things, but enduring the suffering, enduring the pain, enduring the hardship, right? It says, "So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat that roll. And he said unto me, Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness." And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee into the house of Israel, and speak my words unto them. And that's what we're sitting to do. You have the prophets, you have the system in the truth, right? The spirit of Yahweh Shah comes upon us, and we prophesy and teach his word into the nation of Israel. First, we come into the truth as babes, we learn it, gain the knowledge, gain the understanding. In due time, Yahweh Shah exalts us the time to fulfill the lot that he set for us to do, right? It says, verse 5 says, "For thou art not sent to a people of strange speech and of hard language, but to the house of Israel." So when the Most High giving this vision to Ezekiel, when he talked to Ezekiel, he telling him, I'm not sending you to no people where it should be hard for them to understand you, right? I'm not sending you to no people with no different language or No place where this knowledge that you teaching will be, what's the word I'm looking for? They won't be able to understand it, for lack of better words. Right? I'm sending you to the house of Israel, to where what? They should be able to understand it. They should be able to retain this knowledge to understand it. I ain't seen you nowhere where you're going to be speaking Spanish and these people speak Chinese. No. I'm sending you to the house of Israel where you speak Hebrew, and they should be able to understand this knowledge. They should be able to retain this, what you're saying. Right? It says, not to me people of strange speech, of an hard language, whose words thou cannot understand. Surely I had sent thee to them, they will have hearkened unto me. Right? Because, shoot, these other people will probably listen to how about Shah for Israel do. Israel is a rebellious house. But as it says in verse 7, but the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee. For they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are imputed and hard-hearted. Right? As I was reading this, made me think of, I want to say there's Romans, where it says gainsaying people, right? Gainsaying just goes to reject, denying, right? Because he said I stretch my hand out all day until gainsaying people, because people disrespect and go against Yahweh Shah. They don't want to hear this word. They don't want to hear this truth. As you write Jeremiah, they mock it and make you seem like a bad person, right? It's just truth make them angry, cut them deep. They try to come at you, try to make you seem like a bad person, try to make you seem like you teaching the hate speech, trying to make you seem anti-Semitic, right? It says, behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their forehead. Because, the people was persecuting the prophets. Yeah, I was shy, right? They was coming at them, trying to get at them, right? As I was saying, they were making them seem like evil people, right? So therefore, this is how we read with Jeremiah. Jeremiah came to a point, he was in derision daily. He said he wasn't going to make mention no more. But the spirit of Yahweh Shah was in him like fire and kept him going. Right? See, that's why now the elect is built up to be able to withstand. Because you read in verse 8, right? Again, it says, behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces. Yeah, they rebellious. Yeah, they going to do all that. But the spirit of Yahweh Shah is upon us, so we don't fear them. We don't fear what man can do to the flesh. We only fear Yahweh Shah, because we understand his judgment as well. That's why he said, he that hears you hears me. He that despises you despises me. He that despises me despises him that sent me. Merely paraphrasing Luke 10:16. So you're not hearing this word of Yahweh Shah put the spirit on us to teach. You're not listening to him. So therefore, it's going to be a judgment for you. So go and do what you got to do. Feel like you got to come at me. Feel like you got to come harm me. Go do what you got to do. At the end of the day, what's out of the hand, receive it or don't, you will hear it, man. You will hear it, and we're going to be the Most High's witnesses, Lord willing. That hopefully we're going to be the Most High witnesses, man. When the time comes, I didn't know, I didn't that. No, how should I say? If I had not come, there would be no cloak for their skin. It's like for their sin. There's no more excuses. There's no more I didn't know. There's no more There's no more of that, right? Because you had the prophets, you got the elders, you got teachers' words going out to the whole world through the internet. Yesterday, as I was watching the brother break down Ezekiel chapter 3, I was watching the video on it. The brother is he sound like he's from London, one of the London brothers, and I subscribe to his channel because I be hearing the elders things as such, talk about it. I never really came across the brother's channel, but the brother was from London, man. This word is going all over, man. Right? There's no more excuse. There's no more excuses for the lack of knowledge. But that's why the people are going to be destroyed before lack of knowledge. The people, but they reject Yahweh Shah. They don't want to hear this knowledge, because it ain't like you shouldn't understand it. It's just that you reject it so much. Now you're so caught up in the way of that other nation. Now you're so caught up in the lifestyle you think that's your lifestyle. The spirit of Babylon has got you taken out, but ultimately is what scripture say, right? Romans chapter 1, right? Most High gave you up to your own lust. It came to a point to where you wanted to love that so much, because when the man drawn away, he's drawn away of his own lust, right? So if you love that lust so much, Yahweh just gave you up onto it. Go ahead. Whom resisted his will? He knew you would do that. That's why you wasn't in the part of his elect, because the elect was ordained. He knew the ones who was going to be sincere and scribing to the end. And they're not perfect, but at the end of the day, they will endure. They will keep fighting. They'll keep going, endure to the end. It's gonna be a tough battle, but it's a patient process. Things gonna get hard. Things gonna get tough. We understand that, but it's the ones who are gonna endure to the end, right? But what is, as an adamant harder than a flint, and an adamant is basically going to a diamond, right? We got to be tough as a diamond, right? An adamant harder than a flint have I made thy forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed their looks, though they be a rebellious house. We don't fear them. We still gonna teach his word. We still gonna teach his truth. We still gonna get out here on the highways and byways and do the things that Yahweh Shem Shah said for us to do. Right? You know, we still gonna do these things because the elect gonna be able to retain this knowledge and teach it. Right? But let me see. Bro, I know it's saying, I want to say it's saying John. That's right here. Matthew 5. I start verse 14. It says, "Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on the hill cannot be hidden." And light is understanding this truth, right? You know, that's why I said Corinthians 5, you know, as starting really around verse 20 when it's going into, you know, Yahweh Shah reconciling us back to the fold, Yahweh Shah, right? It also goes to tell us that we are ambassadors for this truth. So we got to carry ourselves as such, man, right? We that light, we carry ourselves as such, right? It says, "Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven," right? And that's what we doing. We letting our light shine forth on the highways and byways, doing lessons, doing videos, right? Person not the way of the flesh, person not the way of this world, person not the way of all these things to do the will and power of Yahweh Shem Shah, right? Keeping it, you know, keeping it in the way that Yahweh Shem Shah want us to, not in the way of this world, not in the way of what they would think, well, not in the way what they want us to do, right? So, going back to Ezekiel, right? Because going back to the title, going back to the title at hand again, right? This truth is going to be taught, whether you hear it or not, or whether you receive it or not. You're going to hear it, right? And it's not going to stop, right? Because the elect going to retain this knowledge and do the will and do the works see how Shah said us do. So once we get that light, see the people gross darkness. So, right? Their gross darkness is the non-understanding, the lost, right? Out here confused, right? Once we get the light, we're not going to get the light and go hide nowhere. No, we're going to get the light and go shine forth. We're going to teach us now. We're going to teach us understanding. We're going to carry ourselves. We're going to rehearse that righteous act. Carry ourselves in the way of Yahweh Shem Shah, right? So, it's like I want to jump down, right, to Ezekiel 3, verse 17, right? It says, "Son of man, I have made thee a watchman to the house of Israel. Therefore, hear the word in my mouth and give them warning from me." And that's what we're doing, right? That's why the scriptures say, you know, we're prophets. They're prophets unto the nations. Let me see. I think it's in Jeremiah. So I can bear with me. Shalaki for that. I ended up getting a phone call interrupted, but the priest I was going to, you know, Jeremiah 1:5, because that's why he's prophet unto the nations, right? This is Jeremiah 1. I started verse 4. It said, "The Lord, the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee," because the prophet's been ordained, right? It's like the elect been ordained, the prophet's been ordained as well, right? It says, "And before thou came forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations," right? Because we prophesying the downfall of this nation and telling Esau their judgment as well. Hey, you know, you're going to be judged for the things you did, right? And we telling Jake, hey, Jake, if you don't get out the way, if you don't get out the way of Esau, and return back to Yahweh Shem Shah, you're going to be judged as well, right? You're prophet unto the nations, right? But we just giving warning to Jake. We giving warning to the people of Yahweh Shem Shah. Right? The Lord's not slack concerning His promise. The Most High don't want to just destroy you, right? But what? Jake still choose the way of himself. Jake still go off, right? It's like you have that child who constantly don't listen. So guess what? You're gonna have to correct them. You're gonna have to bring some, punishment to them. You're gonna have to bring some discipline to them. That's the word I was looking for. You're gonna have to bring some discipline to them, man. Right? You're gonna have to show them that, you gotta listen. And that's what the Most High gotta do to Jake, man. Right? He says, "Son of man, I have made thee a watchman to the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word of my mouth and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou give them not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life." And that's the thing. What I was reading, I want to say this. It's like, bro, I want to say that was Matthew when the brothers were brother was bringing out precepts. He was bringing this out. He read Matthew's through 16, Matthew, but I'm gonna just read verse 15, right? It says, for this people heart is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing. It's talking about the 2/3. And their eyes have they closed, lest at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears and should understand with their heart and should be converted, and I should heal them. And you got to understand, right? This going into the fact of the Most High got those 2/3 blind. That's why Yahushua, he talking to the disciples, telling them about the parables. Like the people won't be able to understand the parables besides you, because it was given unto you to know the mysteries and things of heaven. That's why the day of the Lord is a thief in the night. But the Spirit of Yahushua gives us the power to prepare ourselves and do the will, do the works of Yahushua to get ready and prepare for that day. So it won't come at us. The 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 is talking about that they won't creep up on us like a thief in the night. We'll be prepared. We'll see the signs and the things that's going on. We'll see the prophecy being fulfilled to understand that, hey, it's getting to that time where Yahushua is going to visit this place, and we'll see things happen. Oh, Jacob's trouble, the MOT. We see things happen that, prepare ourselves. It's like in the game with quarters. Once you know at the halftime, you know that it's getting closer and closer to the end of the game. Where we're at halftime, it's getting closer and closer to the end of the game, man. We down there in that fourth quarter for real, right? Where things get tough, where things get gritty, where everything counts, right? But the point is, right, the point is the latter part again. It said, lest any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears and should understand with their heart and should be converted, and I should heal them, right? Because that's the reason why those 2/3 are blocked. That's why the Most High sent the angel to block those 2/3 so they wouldn't get it, so they couldn't understand his knowledge, so they couldn't get his understanding. Because there's only one way to be able to. That's the only one way to be able to overcome this wicked world, overcome this wicked place. There's only one way to receive salvation, and that's through this knowledge, this understanding, this truth, right? And having the faith in Yahweh Shah. So the Most High don't allow them to receive that, because once again, going into how we've been reiterating, a lot lately, this faith is a gift, man. This faith is a gift. This faith is a gift to allow you to get out of the way of this world and do the sincere works of Yahweh Shah, right? This faith is a gift, man. And when you get it, understand, you understand how much it's a gift, because you see how lost the people are. You see the wickedness on people. They smoke weed all day, take drugs, do all these things, living wickedly, right? And understand through the Spirit part how about Shah. So that's why fear is the beginning of knowledge and understanding. Because once you understand the fear, you understand judgment, you understand everything of how about Shah, man. Because fear is the beginning of it, right? Because when you understand that fear, it's a respectful fear. I did a lesson on it, that respectful fear going into, you know his power. You know the power of Yahweh Shah, right? You know that he control all things. You know he can get it popping at any moment, right? So each and every day you walk circumspect to prepare yourself. But those 2/3, they don't have the knowledge to understand that, because the Most High don't allow them to get that, right? But that's why we give it one. That's why he set the watchmen up. The ones who ain't going to stray away, the ones who ain't going to stop this truth just because she ain't like it or he ain't like it. Just because the Esau lady, she was mad about, what we said. Hey, the other lady could have been one of those elect women. It's entertaining angel underwear. You never know, right? But that's the point of how Shah setting up those watchmen. Because going back to Tyler Hand again, receive it or don't, you will hear it. The watchmen, right? And going back to Ezekiel 3, right? Ezekiel 3, going back to 17, verse 18, right? It says, when I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, right? Because once again, we prophesying to the nation. We prophesying to the Esau, Edom, and the other nations that destruction and what's going to happen to them, mainly Esau, Edom. And you're going to be judged. You're going to go into captivity into the kingdom, right? You're going to be judged for those things you've done into the nation of Israel, especially Esau, Edom, right? Hey, Most High is going to destroy the wicked. It's going to be a kingdom of righteousness when it's time to come. But Jay, you got a chance to overcome. Jay, you got a chance to correct yourself, because that's the reason we're here now. Because we was glorious and we had everything, but we disrespected Yahweh Shah, right? But now the truth for the elect, and now we got those elect, the ones who get out the way of the wicked. So now we're able to understand, right? Now we're able to be a proper, God, a proper power. Because now we understand good. Now we understand evil. Now we understand both ways. What was I reading that the other day? Yeah, I see. I know I was reading. I read that count. That was Hebrews 5 and verse 14. It said, but strong meat belongs to them that are full age. That strong meat is going into, when you're a baby, you got desire to sense of milk. You can't just automatically eat steak when you're a baby. You got desire to sense of milk so you can grow. And that milk is the knowledge and understanding to help you grow into a spiritual man. And as you grow, as you get the strong meats, right, and you be able to teach this knowledge, do lessons, be on the highways and byways, bring precepts, do them things, right? It says, but strong meat belongs to them that are full of age, even those who by use have their even those who by reason of use have their sense exercised to discern both good and evil. Because after you grow up, right? A baby don't be knowing right from wrong, right? But as you grow up in the ways of how about Shah, you desire that sense of milk, and you grow, right? And you build yourself up as a spiritual man through the spirit of probably how about Shah. Now you're able to discern the good and the evil, right? That's why Most High let Adam go off, so we can be able to discern the good and evil. You can see that ways are evil, and you can depart from it and do the way of Yahweh Shah. The good is the way of Yahweh Shah, man, right? You're able to discern and see Jake out here, they lost. Right? That's why, once again, if I didn't have a con, there'd be no cloak for no sin. That's sin. But now Yahweh Shah brought that light unto us, but Jake's he just choose the darkness. Right? So, but the ones who choose the light, now they able to see the good. Now we able to separate it. Because we understand the laws was given unto us for us to separate the good and the evil. For us to separate the wicked things from the righteous things. Right? Wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove. Right? But going back to Ezekiel again, right? Verse 18, right? It says, when I said to the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest them not warning nor speakers to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life. Because why? There's knowledge and understanding is the way you can save your life. You can overcome death. We're going to be changed. 1 Corinthians 15, man. We're going to be changed. We're going to be changed from these fleshly bodies. We're going to be changed from these fleshly bodies into spiritual bodies. And we're going to swallow death with victory, Lord willing. Right? The hopefully elect. Right? And the only way you can do that is through knowledge and understanding. So therefore, we out here as watchmen, we teaching, doing the work, doing the will, and prophesying. Because, hey, buddy walking by, he could be part of the elect. You never know, right? It said, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, they have no cloak for his sin. Because you going to hear it, right? It's really the point right here in 19. Yet if thou warn the wicked, because we out here warning you, man. Giving you lessons, doing lessons going up every day. Like I was saying in the camp the other day, you got brothers who graduate from 1 lesson to 2 lessons a day. You got brothers who graduate from 2 to 3. You got the elders, Apostle Hardin on down, they doing lessons all day. From sun up to sundown, they doing lessons all day, man. Right? 4, 5, 6 lessons a day. They ain't doing live lessons. They on it. Right? But, what's the precept? To whom required much is given, Shalakia, I'm saying it wrong, merely paraphrasing. Right? But the Most High, everybody have their own lot. Everybody have their own talents. But it's all the talents we have by Yahweh Shah. So we all doing these things to bring out the true oracles of Yahweh Yahweh Shah, to give him honor and glory. Right? And to help and get the word out to the nation of Israel. Because Yahweh told the angel, hey, hold them 4 winds till my name is sealed in those 144,000 forehead. Once those 144,000 receive it, hey, it's on and popping. Right? He said, yeah, if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. And that's what we're doing. We warn the wicked, but hey, they don't want to return from it. But at the end of the day, right, receive it or don't, you will hear it, man. The watchman, right? If you have an ear, let him hear. Right? We ain't gonna hide this truth. We're gonna let this light shine. We're gonna let this light shine forth. We're gonna bring knowledge out. We're gonna tell you, right? Open rebuke is better than secret love. Right? But ultimately, you gotta understand the truth only for the elect. So if they don't get it, we ain't gonna force it on them, but just know that you know. And there's going to be a judgment, right? There's going to be a judgment. It ain't no getting out, right? It ain't no getting out from this, right? Was the Galatians 6, right? I started verse 7, right? It says, "Be not deceived, Yahweh is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. For he that soweth to his flesh shall the flesh. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the spirit shall slack it. I'm gonna start it over. For he that soweth to his flesh shall slack it. For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption, but he that soweth to the spirit shall of the spirit reap life and everlasting, man. So you gotta get out there with that flesh, get out with your own will, and come into the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Get out your own way, right? Return to Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Because, hey, if you don't, the word is out here. It ain't no excuse. It ain't no cloak for your sin, man. It ain't no excuse for these things. Because the watchman out here teaching and doing the works, right? And it was an example at camp. I know we usually always have the camera facing us, but you probably can hear the ladies talking at the camp or whatnot. But this it hit me when I seen it, because at the end of the day, hey, this word is out here, right? But if things just cause it offend your friend or whatnot, you don't want to come into the truth because it offend your friend. Hey, that's on you. At the end of the day, you're gonna receive this knowledge, man. You're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it, right? But that's up to you. If you gonna, ultimately it's up to Yahweh Shem Shah. But hey, what the scripture say? I will not. And if you let me in, I'm come sup with them, right? You have men who even come into the truth and then eventually fall out, right? So hey, you want to scribe it to the end. Them who do it to the end shall be saved, man. Right? I'm gonna read verse 8 one more time, right? It says, "For he that soweth to his flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption." Right? Got to understand, I said earlier, 1 Corinthians 15, right? We're going to be changed from this corruption into incorruption, because we're going to be changed from these fleshly bodies into spiritual bodies, man. We're going to overcome death, right? He said, "But he that soweth to the Spirit shall of the Spirit reap life everlasting," right? To be carnally minded is death, to be spiritually minded is life and peace, merely paraphrase. Got to understand, man, the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is the way. That's the only way you're going to receive that salvation, having the faith and doing the works of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So with that being said, man, once again, the title of the lesson is "Receive It or Don't." You will hear it, right? #watchman. With that being said, I hope the lesson was edifying and exalting. And I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And shout out to the whole elect, starting with the 144,000. Shalom.